Welcome to day 11 of this 12 days of transit in New York series, and we have one more day to go. Can you believe it? For today, we are going to take a ferry, another ferry, but this time it's free. We're gonna take the Staten Island Ferry. As dense as Manhattan is, full of buildings, they call it the concrete jungle, it's actually an island and surrounded by a lot of water. So in the city, you end up seeing a lot of vessels used on the water. You'll see a lot of cargo vessels. Police and the fire department use it to get to places faster. There's the New York City Ferry, which I did a video on earlier in the series. I'm walking towards Whitehall Terminal right now. This is the terminal for the Staten Island Ferry in Manhattan. And it's very easy to get to Whitehall Terminal. There's the one train that's just right in front of the terminal. There's also the M15 bus that is just right behind me right here, dropping off people. There are some street food vendors just outside Whitehall Terminal, and they're selling the healthiest street food I've ever seen. Fresh fruit. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, so I have some time to get my fresh fruit in. There are no fare gates because the Staten Island Ferry is free. You can just come up here. There are also bathrooms, some food options, and a waiting area. You clearly know which door the next ferry is going to be at because that's where the gaggle's at. But you can also see the ferry schedule. It disappeared. But you can see the ferry schedule usually on the screen. I wish they just constantly had it on. They have plenty of screens. You can see when the next ferry is coming on the schedule right here. But the screen rotates. I wish they just consistently had it on. They have another screen on the other side of this, and this could be the ad screen. But the next ferry is about to leave in a minute, and that's where we're gonna get on and check it out. This is really a pretty simple terminal. There's 1, 2, 3 doors, and you can clearly know which door is going to have the next departing ferry. And from here you can also see the Statue of Liberty, but once we get on the ferry, we're going to have an excellent view of her. And the door just opened and people are boarding. So as we're trying to board, because this might take a while, there are a lot of people, I want to tell you about why the Staten Island Ferry is free. Back in the 90s, there was this push for equal transit. From Manhattan to all the other boroughs, you could easily walk onto them because of the bridges. All the bridges have pedestrian access. But Staten Island did not. Staten Island did not have a bridge for pedestrian access. And so by adding a ferry, people can simply walk on board and walk to Staten Island. This happened around the 90s when it was Mayor Giuliani. And having the Staten Island Ferry for free was a way for him to support the residents of Staten Island. This is notable because a lot of residents in Staten Island affiliate with his political party. There are 2 levels of this ferry. I'm in the lower level and it's indoors, so if it's cold you can hang out in the lower level. But we're gonna go at the top level where there's an outdoor area. Also, if you're riding Staten Island Ferry just to see the Statue of Liberty, make sure you are on the right side when you enter. I explained this. I explained the tips and tricks in this video, so check that out in the description below. If you happen to be in New York during 9/11, you can see the 9/11 lights from the Staten Island Ferry. It's actually a good place to see them. Because on this side where the Statue of Liberty is, it's crowded with people. But if you don't care too much for the view, you can go on this side and just enjoy the skyline, the Manhattan and the Brooklyn skyline. There's not going to be a lot of people on that side. So inside the ferry, there are bathrooms and plenty of seating. There are 2 levels to the Staten Island Ferry. Before 9/11, the first level was for cars. You can actually take your car on the Staten Island Ferry and into Manhattan, back and forth from Manhattan to Staten Island. But after 9/11, they discontinued that. So it's now purely just for pedestrian passengers. You can bring your bike on it. If you're ever at the entrance and all the bikes leave the ferry, it's like there's this bike race that's happening. So a lot of bikers coming out of the ferry. I didn't realize Staten Island had so many seagulls. And if you walk down this area behind me, you will get to a baseball stadium. And that's the Staten Island baseball team. They're known as the Ferry Hawks. The original name was the Staten Island Yankees. But there's a team in the Bronx that has claim to fame for that name. So they changed their name, and one summer they had a vote. They had fans vote on the name, and it was the Pizza Rats. So for a season, they were called the Staten Island Pizza Rats. But now recently, in the last year or 2, they've been the Ferry Hawks. This is a great thing to do during the summertime because tickets are so cheap. This is the minor leagues, and you can buy a ticket for less than $20. Hot dogs are gonna be cheap. And at the end of the game, there are usually fireworks. It's a great cheap thing to do, especially with the Staten Island Ferry. You can get here relatively fast. So that was day 11 of 12 Days of Transit in New York City. And we have one more day to go. Before I wrap up, my question to you is, since we're talking about free rides, free ferry transit, I wanted to know what you thought about free fare. The Staten Island Ferry seems to do okay, but what about other transit systems like the subway and the buses? Comment down below. And of course, this video wouldn't be complete if I don't have a shout out to the Urban Caffeine shop. There's a holiday deal going on. Make sure you check that out at shop.urbancaffeine.com. All Patreons and YouTube members get 15% off for as long as they're members. Check that out at patreon.com/urbancaffeine or the join button of this channel. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and happy New Yorking.